Ready?
Yeah.
All right. Hello and good afternoon. Hopefully everybody is doing well. Today is July the 19th, 2018, and it is show number 50. 50.
Wow.
I think that's isn't that bicentennial? Isn't 50 bicentennial?
Could be.
There's like a movie like bicentennial. I think we
I've
are.
never seen it.
I think we are now bicentennial.
Okay.
Hey, I think that's a pretty big thing, though, right? You know,
50's big, especially since a few viewers mentioned 40 to 50 years. So, yeah, 50's a big thing.
Yeah. Again, we have a little bit of a wind factor today, so hopefully you can hear us okay. It's a little gusty, a little bit coming from that direction, going this way. So hopefully you can hear us. Anyway, so Carla, great job for putting up with me for these 50 or 49 now 50 shows. I know I can be rather passionate at times.
That's okay. I think I'm a lot more passionate than you, so.
Yeah, I mean, I put up with you at the same time.
Exactly.
So I think
so
we're good.
even.
So good 50. Appreciate that. It's been good. So I think we're equal. You put up with me, I put up with you, and then everyone else puts up with us, and they really have no choice because they're just stuck with it, right?
I guess.
Hey, at least you
I mean, they have a choice.
Yeah, at least you don't have her like, what? Oh. Yeah, you don't have to deal with that. Yeah, she can be tough. All right, so once again, we are here to get the ball rolling to run up to the U.S. Open. And again, if you followed this from the Wimbledon series, we followed the smaller grass tournaments up to the little bit bigger ones up into Wimbledon, and we're going to do the same thing, U.S. Open. So we had our first show of this series yesterday, which was generally just discussion, because we've had a lot of good discussion come in. Right?
Yes.
So, just to reiterate, given that we're going to do the same run-up that we did to Wimbledon to the U.S. Open, because there aren't really any hard-court tournaments being played. I think there's one in Croatia, and but it's clay, and there's another grass court or another grass tournament. So we're going to start, I think, with a 250 in Atlanta, and then a women's, basically an equivalent to a 250 that I think is in China, which begins next week.
I've never understood why the tour does that on both sides, ATP and WTA. Why do they put tournaments that have nothing to do with the upcoming Grand Slam? Like, they should have, you have the Australian Open coming up, they should have warm-up tournaments on hardcourt, that type of hardcourt. If you have French Open, they seem to have it for the French Open. Wimbledon, more grass court tournaments. U.S. Open, only hard. Why would you sprinkle in some grass here and some clay here? Makes no sense.
So that's another comment for another
Makes
day.
no sense
That's a good question. I'm sure we have some people that can shed light on that. So we I guess to rephrase, we're morphing into the hardcourt season, but yet we're getting a throwback to clay and another throwback to grass. I'm sure there's some local marketplaces and local marketing and local hotel rooms and local vendors that enjoy those tournaments coming to their town no matter what. But I think because of that, I think the players probably understand that. So I think that the ones that are really trying to run up to the $1 million purse, which I think is the U.S. Open Series, there's 10 hardcourt tournaments. Correct me if I'm wrong.
I'm not sure.
Whoever gets the most points out of those 10 tournaments running up gets I think $1 million. So I mean, if there's a small tournament here or there that's not helping the bigger people to get in shape for the hardcourt season, that's probably why they're not there. Right?
Sure. They should just say it's a challenger.
Okay, that's a good challenger. Okay.
You have many challengers all over. I played a few. There's challengers everywhere.
Yeah. So that's another story for another day. Is it challenger intensity? Not that there's not a lot of intensity there.
There is.
There is. There's a
You'll
whole
even
lot.
have some pros that go back to the challengers.
Yeah. Look, no disrespect there. Challengers is big time stuff. But in terms of a whole slew of results from the tournaments, we're gonna wait just to simply save everybody time until the hardcourt.
For the big tournaments.
The bigger tournaments, yes. Some big and then some bigger, and then, of course, the U.S. Open. So there is not really any results that we're going to discuss. This is going to be the 50th show, bicentennial, and it's going to be all for all of you, because this is all comment derived.
Yes.
Yeah, and I think Carla's pretty pumped up about this one because she has been just drilled. Not drilled, but...
Oh, I got drilled in this one.
So look, there's a lot to discuss, and she hasn't been drilled, but I think she has been the lone Nadal fan in this entire group.
Where are you, Nadal fans?
Well, there was
Come
one.
on,
There was one. There was
Well,
one.
where's the rest? Where's the Federer fans? Where's the Nadal fans? Come on.
Yeah, so
You guys are making me look bad. You've got Djokovic, and I'm sorry I pronounced that name wrong to the viewer that mentioned
yeah,
that.
she even got called out for name
Djokovic.
pronunciation.
Djokovic. It seems like there's more Djokovic fans.
We've been talking about this, right? All right, so we're going to get into all of this and more. I wanted to reiterate that we do this, I guess you could say, show where we talk tennis globally to create objective debates. We want to be in a debate. And believe me, 80% of the stuff that we debate here, I disagree with her on. Believe me. So we disagree on a lot, and it's nice to get it out here instead of in the kitchen. You know what I mean? So it's really a joy to do this for all of you and for us, because without your comments, without your feedback, without your positions and takes on all this stuff from a whole lot of nationalities and a whole lot of different perspectives, a whole lot of different cultures, then I don't think we would continue to do this for 50 now.
It's great to
times.
see that there's different backgrounds, different nationalities. Tennis is such a global sport, and it's great to see. Not, it's many different people from different walks of life.
Hot.
It's fine.
It's hot. It's hot. All right, so again, it's because of all of you that we do this. So I'm gonna give them a standing ovation,
Mm-hmm.
right? Thank everyone for watching these, and you don't even have to like it. We discussed that we would do this no matter what. Hopefully you like it, but it's really. I'm not going to sit here and say, hey, click like below anymore. I'm not, I really have enjoyed this at this point, and I think we are lucky to have an outlet to discuss, and I think that's primary. So,
Yeah, but subscribe to the channel so you can watch more videos.
well, yeah, subscribe, but I'm just saying I would do it anyway. It's not like, sometimes you watch videos and like, subscribe, and I've done that, but I think sometimes if you enjoy it, why would you even care? It's secondary, but great. You know what I'm saying? I'm having fun. And that's all that matters. So, real quick, and again, thanks to everyone. So, real quick, I mentioned yesterday, if my lips were glossy, don't stare or laugh too much, because what occurred, we play a lot of tennis. We play sets a lot, pretty much daily. We train our kids pretty much daily. And somehow, some way, I managed to get them sunburnt and badly. So, I'm pretty saddened at the fact that I was naive enough to not realize that sun up there can be brutal for me. I don't have the luxury of having her more prone to no burn skin tone. I don't have that, and unfortunately because of that I've had some really quite intense sunburn. So I'm going to go back to the drawing board on my sun coverage, because usually I cover it completely, and somehow I allowed myself to get just beat down by the sun.
I don't know how you even got that.
Yeah.
You should wear a wide brim hat.
So anyway, it happened, and I'm going to try to figure that out and just and push forward from that. The worst part is, though, is if I try to give her a kiss, it hurts. And plus it's probably like, wait a minute, so at the end of the day, man, it really sucks to have not kissed you in a couple days, because you were like a muy bonita mamacita. Really like you a whole lot.
Okay.
Really do.
Let's get back to the show.
All right? But I got one coming. I'm warming up the gears. Once it heals over, I got one.
Okay.
All right, got one for her. Anyway, so it's impossible to do it right now.
Okay.
All right?
I understand.
Don't be bashful. Don't be bashful. All right, so with all this said, it is a show, what we do, that focuses on all of you. And Carl and I disagree on almost all of it. I think in the past 50 shows, I've sided with more of you than her. And that just can kind of lay the foundation for today. So, there's nothing new with that, though. I mean, aren't women from Venus and men are from Mars?
Yeah.
So I think we have pretty much every guy, which is a lot of them now, against you.
Oh, that's okay. I love it.
Let's go!
I love beating down on guys on the tennis court. My
We'll see.
defeats were more against guys than girls, and I love it.
Telling you, man. I'm telling you, she's ready. She came prepared. Look, she has notes today. You
It's
see
been
that?
messy, but I know what I'm doing. not so organized like you.
All right, so anyways, jumping right into viewer comments. A quick timeout though. Yesterday I misspoke. So, and I'm going to make this brief. Her father mentioned a comment where there should be tiebreakers in every match at every major unless it's the final. I agree with that. I said, though, however, on yesterday's video that he indicated there should not be.
Right.
I added that should not be incorrectly. So the correction is that her father has a theory that every major should have
tiebreakers
I almost did it again.
in every round.
Should have tiebreakers in every round and every set, like the U.S. Open, unless it is the final.
Right.
And then if they want to go 122
let 'em go.
to 120, let them go, and whoever bought tickets, hey, I got 4 days off. Fair enough?
I like it.
I like it too, but I misspoke that, so I wanted to correct that because I misled with someone else's words, and I wanted to correct that. Right?
Right.
Okay, so after the video yesterday, the comments came, boom, immediately in. So we're going to jump right into that, and it may be a brief discussion, it may be a long one. I think it's going to be long, so if it goes 2 shows, look out for part 2. I wouldn't be surprised if it goes 2 with Carla having notes.
Well, they're more like facts.
So,
okay.
So that's notes, though. So I'm checking the camera. We're at 11 minutes. So we got 20 minutes to go off. You ready?
Mm-hmm.
Ready to dig in?
Yeah, go ahead.
Let's go. All right. First comment that came in yesterday, after the show yesterday, was from a long-time viewer, long-time statistician, and a very well-written young man. And that is Rahesh. Okay, Rahesh, is always good to see you. Great to hear from you. So he made a point just right off the bat. Let's not discuss, and this is a nugget from that. Let's not discuss Grand Slams as a way to, I guess you could say, let's not discuss Grand Slam counts as a way to compare, I guess you could say, because they're all capable.
Yeah.
I mean, and again, we're referencing Nadal, Federer, Djokovic, and I think that's what this whole discussion for the past couple of days have been about.
Right.
And I think we're going to expand that. We're going to expand that too across the board and a lot of other things that go deeper than just these 3. But I think it's like a pyramid. You know, you have a foundation and they're at the tip of it, and then we still have people climbing up the sides trying to get to the tip, but no one can get to the tip. But that's another story. So,
I think the reason we discuss this because a lot of the viewers want to discuss this, so we discuss it. And then 2. I mean, besides Roger Federer, Nadal, and Djokovic, no one's close to them. Murray only has 3. Wawrinka only has 3. There's no one. Potro has 1. Who really has anything close to them?
doesn't Potro have 2?
Where's the other one?
Oh, no, he has 1. He won the US Open.
Yeah, there's no one that's close to those 3 guys, and they're like in competition. So that's why they're more fun to talk about.
So the variable is Grand Slams in terms of discussing the 3. I mean, Rahesh has a point. Can we all keep talking about Grand Slams when the whole debate about this is that Federer had it easier than the younger ones, and we're going to get into that. So we're going to get into that. And she did a lot of research on who Federer played, who Federer won. Even when Rafter was involved, that used to dismiss him. And as we know, Rafter has been, I got a fly on me, but Rafter has been a stand-up tennis player for a very long time, and he's no slouch. And I think there was some part of Federer's career where Rafter dismissed him 3 straight times in a row. Federer actually never beat him, but we'll get into that as well.
I don't like that comment, Justin, just because it's like saying, well, Borg won all his Grand Slams, and he had no competition until McEnroe came. No.
Why do I got a fly on it? You see that?
2 of them.
2? What is that? Probably our sweat, like, hydrating over there. All right, anyway, sorry, there was flies on our video. We had wildlife in the woods. We were filming in the woods. The squirrels came almost on our head. Like, Aru Fallen had seen the squirrels, and now we got, like, flies. Like, maybe that's, like, a bad thing.
I don't know.
Flies? I don't know. Anyway, they're, like, all over the camera. Anyway, so the variables of the Grand Slams, I think, if you look at basketball, and not that I bring up basketball, but we judge flies. So we judge, like, LeBron James and Michael Jordan over how many championships
and
they have.
We shouldn't.
And look, I'm not even bringing that up. We're not here to talk basketball. We got to do something about these flies. I don't know what we're going to do with them. We got, like, Hansel and Gretel on my camera. You know what I mean? That can't happen.
And they want to be part of the show.
Well, they're not fans. Obviously, they could be. Fly tennis. All right. So anyway, I mean, it's like, can you like swat them away while I read, because it's gonna block the camera, like literally.
Okay, well I'm gonna be like this here.
Well, I don't know what to do with them. We got like flies everywhere. All right. Anyway, so we're gonna deal with the flies. So the second comment that we had. Go ahead, sit down. Forget the flies. I don't know what it is. So anyway, so the second comment that we had after Rajesh mentioned, let's not talk about Grand Slams. And okay, yeah, let's try to pull Grand Slam wins out of the conversation, and let's expand it from there. Okay? So Mark J came in with a big comment in reference to a young Canadian player that I was speaking about yesterday. Mm-hmm. So we were just starting the video, and I made reference to a player, and I could not recall the name. I had read a brief article about this young player, and lo and behold, Mark J caught it and actually came back with who the player is, his age, and some statistics that were actually really cool to hear. Do you have that?
Yes. Well, I think Mark J said it, referring to the Canadian Canadian player. These flies. He said it was Felix Agur Alisem. I don't know how to pronounce his name. My apologies. You were thinking of. He won the 2016 Junior US Open and the youngest player to ever retain the ATP Challenger title, 17 years and 10 months. He has the second most titles for a player age 17 and under, level with Djokovic and Juan Martín del Potro, and second only to Richard Gasquet. You getting a workout?
Man, I've never seen such. Makes me like wonder what, like, do flies play tennis or something? What is that?
I don't know.
Anyway, distractions. It's kind of like playing in a tennis match, and you got people hooting.
Or it's like those nets.
Yeah, it's like, stay focused, stay on track. Otherwise, you'll be like Becker, that was hitting on Agassi's wife in the semifinals in like 2000 and what was it? Wasn't Becker hitting on Brooke Shields?
2005?
Like, Agassi was up like a set to none. He was the favorite to go into the Wimbledon match, and then then Becker was kind of like winking at his wife, and it kind of made Agassi upset. Yeah.
Don't worry about the flies. You can't even see them.
You sure?
Yeah, I'm looking at it. We're fine.
All right. Well, I hope so, because otherwise we're going to have just, like smashed flies and a busted phone in a minute.
No.
All right. Well, fly on, I guess. All right. So I was talking about a Canadian player, and I could not come up with his name. She mentioned it. Felix Agur Alisem. I can't. I'm not quite sure how to pronounce it. But she mentioned his comment, and yes, great facts. We should watch him, I think. To have the statistics like that as a younger player sometimes aren't necessarily relevant, because how many junior players do we see or have coached to a high level at the junior rank and at the very young level, but when they meet 25 and 28-year-old men, they tend to get destroyed, and then they lose confidence and so forth.
Yeah, I mean, great for him, but I don't go anything. I don't really pay attention to that anymore. The young superstars, because they got to prove themselves. I mean, look at Severva, still hasn't proved himself. EM still hasn't proved himself. So still, they got a long way to go. Yeah, they got a long way to go, but nonetheless,
Mark J, thank you for that. For the life of me, I would not have been able to come up with that, and I probably would not have remembered to look it up. And so thank you for nailing that right off the bat. Appreciate that great fact. So the third comment that came in was from Vlad's Music Box. And Vlad, he's in Serbia, and really, he can really bring some really good stuff with his comments. So can everybody. But Vlad came in and really corrected me on a comment that I made about Goran Ivanisevic. So I'm going to let Carla read that, and I think it was lengthy, so I think she's plugged out a couple of nuggets for Vlad's comment. Let's go. What does Vlad say?
He said that you were wrong. He said Ivanisevic won Wimbledon in 2001 against Pat Rafter. Philippoussis wasn't even competing that year. And then he gave us an interesting fact about Ivanisevic's coach. Did we know it was Jelena Jančić, the same woman that was early coach to Monica Seles and Djokovic? She was the one that had wished for Djokovic to win the Roland Garros more than any other slam. When he finally did it in 2016, he dedicated to her. She passed away in 2013.
That's deep.
So then he says, as for the argument that Djokovic will win 13 slams at age 31, he may not have much time to catch up to Federer or Nadal. Statistics are a great way possibly to anticipate how things are going to work out in the future. But he says the game is evolving, and the competitive edge between top players and constant challenges make them all adapt to new conditions and terms, or necessary fitness, tactics, and psychologically. And then he says that Federer, at the age of 37, beat Nadal in 2017 Australian Open and Chile 2018, and they were both 5 to 7 years younger than him. At the fifth, and they went to 5 sets. Then he goes on to say that Nadal, Federer, and Djokovic all have great games, and they are not done yet. They could win more titles. And to think that this could not happen for another 50 or 100 years to him is crazy. Well, I'm saying crazy, but he was like, huh? And it goes on, but pretty much that's,
Yeah, so I mean, all the...
And he said, well, none of us expected to have another Sampras and Agassi, and we did, with Federer, Nadal, and Djokovic.
I think almost directly in that, or right within that same time frame, I think Rajesh and another person that comments, Noman, I think the name was Noman, stated that Federer had an easier generation than Djokovic. Now, Carla's going to read a list of players that Federer had to beat, or that they beat him for a while. And I think we'll mention even like Patrick Rafter. I think Patrick Rafter never lost to Federer. I think.
Well, we looked at the sticks. Yeah, he never lost to Federer. He beat Federer.
Yeah, so she's going to read a list of players that Federer had to.
Well, making the comparison that Djokovic had an easier time, if you look at Roger Federer's 2004 Australian Open, he beat Safin in the finals, which was a tough competitor. Before that, he had to beat Juan Carlos Ferrer in the semis, Nalbandian in quarters, and Leighton Hewitt in the fourth round. How is that easy?
And wasn't Leighton Hewitt number one in the world?
Yeah, he was in the top of his tennis game.
And how many majors did Hewitt win? 2?
He won more than 2.
How many did he win? I'll have to look that up.
I'm not sure.
Lads Music Box can shed light on that.
He won more than 2.
Yeah.
And then in 2006, someone mentioned that he beat Baghdadis. But before Baghdadis, he had to beat Nicholas Kiefer, who was a tough German. He was a tough German player. And Davydenko, you remember Davydenko?
Yeah, well,
the Russian, he was a tough player as well.
Look, Davydenko was a savvy. I'm not going to say Davydenko was a tough player.
But he was a tough opponent at that era.
He was a savvy player.
He was like in the top 10 when he played him.
Yeah, I mean, I think Davydenko got up to 8 in the world, I think, at one point. Maybe more. Davydenko, by the way, is someone that I have always admired. Mm-hmm. Davydenko, for me, that was a deep name you brought up. We did not write that in. That just came out of nowhere.
Davydenko was a top Russian player, if I remember.
Yeah, Davydenko, all the way up until the very end, was always a threat to anybody.
Yes.
And if not, I think he did a lot of damage in the 500s and 1,000 levels. I didn't look this up. This just came out of nowhere. Good notes. But Davydenko was actually great. But let's be real, and let's go along with Rajesh and Noman. Is Davydenko really as good as Murray, Nadal?
But this, I'm not done, Justin. In the fourth round, he had to beat Tommy Haas. Then you got the 2007 Australian Open. Someone mentioned he beat Fernando Gonzalez in the final. Okay, he did. But he beat Roddick in the semifinals. He beat Tommy Robredo in the quarters. And he beat Djokovic in the fourth round. So how are you telling me that was easy? I mean, 2010, he beats Murray in the finals, Tsonga in the semis, Davydenko in the quarter. And we know what happened 2017 and 18 of Australian Open. Well, then you've got Wimbledon, where someone says, well, he beat Philippoussis. Well, in 2003, he beat Philippoussis to win the Wimbledon title.
And I think someone commented that Philippoussis wasn't even in Wimbledon in 2001, when Ivanisevic won it. And
I don't know if he was in it, but in 2003, he made it to a final where Federer beat him. And then Federer beat Roddick in the semis. So that was a tough match. He beat Roddick again in the 2004 finals. And he beat Hewitt in the quarters. Then in the 2005, he beat Roddick again. Hewitt in the semis. 2006, he beat Nadal, Bjorkman, Gasquet, Anchik, Berdych, Tin Henman. I mean, 2007, he beat Nadal. And Nadal beat Djokovic that same year. So he hasn't had it easy. I don't see where they get that. I mean, we can go to the U.S. Open, where he beat, in 2004, Leighton Hewitt in the finals. In the semis, he beat Henman. He beat Agassi in the quarters. How are these easy competitors?
I would look. That's a good name. I didn't know you were going to bring out Hinman. We tried to do separate so we can battle a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
Hinman for me was always a great player, and still is. I don't see much difference in terms of Hinman's chances to win a major and Murray's. I think Hinman could have 2 or 3 already too, or he could have gotten 2 or 3. Mm-hmm. So I think Murray found a coin toss way to get those majors, whereas Hinman could have had that coin toss as well. I watched Hinman go deep a lot. So I'm going to rule out Murray being in that reason why Djokovic has it harder, because I don't think Murray's all that great.
Murray's not all that good.
I never have thought Murray's all that great in the first place. So let's leave Murray out of it, because Murray has always, for me, been psychologically weak.
He's not
he gets sidetracked. He gets wrapped up in, I don't know what it is, but Murray for me has always seemed a little bit weak-minded, and I don't mean like that personally. I mean on the court. Like when it comes time to fight, when it comes time, like if you don't beat me, I'm going to beat you badly. So I never have felt that Murray is going to come out and I have to actually worry about him punching me in the face long enough before he's kind of worn down and kind of looks lethargic. You know what I'm saying? I felt Murray has I've never felt watching Murray play like he actually.
He was a big threat.
Yeah, he doesn't threaten.
He fights
anybody.
Himself too much. He's got too many inner demons. I don't know what's going on with him. But I mean, I can keep going on. I mean, he's had to beat Agassi in 2005 U.S. Open, 2006 Roddick, 2007 Djokovic, 2008 Murray. So it hasn't been easy for him, like they say. And by the way, when someone mentioned something about Djokovic, when he won the French Open, and same thing with Federer, Nadal had lost to Soderling, right?
Yeah, I had that written in. She's right here. The two French Opens that Nadal did not win are the ones recently. Well, not recently, but within the past decade. Remember, Federer beat Soderling.
Yes.
So remember that. And I think during that tournament, Nadal lost to Soderling.
He lost to Soderling. And then Djokovic won in 2016. And Nadal withdrew in third round.
Yeah, he withdrew before the match, I think.
They won the French Open because somebody withdrew or lost before that.
All right, so good facts here. The time, and I am very apologetic for randomly getting up, but there's this fly, and if I'm speaking for 26 minutes and I can't go out and erase it, I mean, I can't get up and go back and realize it was garbage, so I keep having to get up and get this fly off. So nonetheless, we are at 27 minutes and 50 seconds. We have a limit of 33. This may go 2 shows. Don't shoot us, but it may go 2. So next up, Rajesh mentioned that Novak stated himself that Sampras was his idol. This was in relevance to a statement that he made yesterday that she disagreed with, that
he plays nothing like Sampras. Nothing.
Okay.
He plays like Agassi.
Okay.
Except he's better. Much better.
Yeah.
Much better. By a million times better.
I see. I disagree with both of you on that one. I disagree with you. And I disagree with kind of Rajesh in a way, and no disrespect to either of you. I think Djokovic plays like Djokovic. I don't know anybody, including Agassi, that has been able to return. Like, you know, back in the day when we were just watching Agassi play Becker in the semifinals at Wimbledon, you could say, even the commentators then were saying Agassi's the best returner ever. Djokovic returns way better than him. So
Djokovic is the best returner in tennis.
There is no part of Agassi's game that I feel is as excellent as Djokovic's. No part of it, from his footwork to his movement, from his demeanor. I think Djokovic is a whole nother level of player than Agassi ever was.
Yes, that's true. I mean, he has more of. I think what Rajesh meant was more of a style of those two players, but he's more. Sampras was a serving volleyer. He didn't really grind it out at the baseline, so nowhere close.
I agree.
I mean, Sampras was done in 2-3 points. That was his goal, to end the points quick.
Yeah, I agree totally. I do think personally that Djokovic is maybe 2% Sampras.
Maybe.
2%.
Just like I'm 1% Sampras.
And again, I say this with confidence because when I was a boy, I spent so much time watching Sampras. I hit with this tennis racket, kind of like kids want to play with the better stuff these days. I wanted everything Sampras had. I played like him. I served and volleyed like him. And sometimes when I'm playing her and I can't find a way to win, sometimes I think, what would Sampras do to this day? So I'm a student of Sampras as I'm a student of the game, but I don't see really much of any Sampras in Djokovic. I see some, but Sampras' serve was harder. He had a one-hander versus a two.
Yes, completely different game.
A total different. I don't really get that one. Agassi, I can give about 50% of, but at the end of the day, though, in respect to Rajesh and to Vlad and everyone else, I think Djokovic is his own self, and he's a much better player than any of those we just discussed.
He's better than Agassi and better than Sampras, obviously.
And I'm going to end part one. This is going to go two because I have some really good information, especially from
new viewer.
Yeah, a new viewer, and I'm going to talk about Lindar Paes, the doubles player, as well as Bhupathi, a doubles player, and why we're going to get into that. That team, Bhupathi and Paes, was a team that I was made to follow as a child. My father was a big fan of BJ Amritraj, and we'll get into that and more. So I'm going to stop part one here, and we still have a whole lot to go. New viewer and someone that commented that even sent us a link that involved Paes, which got me going on this topic in the first place. His name was I-M-E Prezim, P-R-E-Z-I-M. Hopefully I'm pronouncing that correctly, Im Prezim. But we're going to get into something that was big in my life. Again, I'm 40. I was born in 77, but a lot of the tennis that we're talking about at my flip from the junior years to the older years revolved around the Samprases and the Edbergs and the Beckers, and then also people like Bhupathi and Paes from a volley standpoint and a teamwork standpoint when playing doubles. Mm-hmm. So we're going to get into that. Ending part one here, and we're going to jump into part two. If you don't have time to watch part two, again, thank you very much for watching. We do this for you, and you only. We're going to do this anyway, so if it wasn't for you guys, we would just not do the hour and a half download it takes and then have to edit it and so forth. We would just continue to do it ourselves. So we do it for you and really appreciate it. So thank you very much. And part two is fixing to come up immediately. All right? All right, cool. And as Carla always says, by the way,
Adios. Hasta pronto.